Yo, yo, what's up? Here we go, episode 146. You gotta be kidding me. Let's have some fun. Cheers, everybody. Happy Monday. Come on in. Grab a drink. Booyah. All right, let's have some fun, folks. Come on in. We got a good group in here already. Charlemagne, 1:03 a.m. Charlemagne, where are you coming from? We got people from Florida, Bruja, Basement Access Monday, Tony. Who else is in here? My mama's in here and a bunch of other people. If you are new, say hi. What's up, people? I'm Cardone. This is Evening Hour Live, episode 146. This is a chatty show and it's live, so come say hi in the chat room. If I know you, and you have some weird name, please tell me your real... I mean, you don't have to, but it's more fun if I know who you are. Come on in. I got a really, really great show for you. I've got lots of fun things to show you and lots of things to talk about. What's up, Sherman? Brad. Come on in, Brad. You're going to love this. Literally, today's episode started off as nothing, and it grew to some epic proportions. Mr. Lorcan, cheers. How are you? Come on in. First, let's get this straight. If you're new, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that nonsense, right? You hear the story. Those things don't even really work all the time, but it's the least you can do. If you're the donating type, hallelujah, there's a link in the description. You can click on it and donate. People donate. You don't have to. If you do, I'm psyched. If not, I don't care. Just spread the word. That's the most important thing. What else? Don't be afraid to chat. We have a really great group in here. Friendly. And we throw out all questions. And if you have a question, there's no dumb questions here. And I don't have all the answers. And neither do the people in here. But we do like questions. What else before we get moving? So I am getting ready. Let me turn this down a hair. Let me know if I sound in... The visuals are okay. I had some issues in the last episode. Oh, last episode, check it out, 145. I did one on Pee-wee. I had a great time, and I have permanently set up over here, you can't see it, my Pee-wee Herman funeral. For now, I literally made a little display of the toys around the Pee-wee figure crying. And it chokes me up for real. And I've showed it to other people who have gotten choked up just by looking at it. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a great episode. I'm still thinking about Pee-wee a lot. But I've been thinking about my other shows on this channel. And the other one is Boardgasm, my board game show. Ooh. I need to get more Boardgasm stuff. Hold on. And I'm working on a new Boardgasm idea, and I'll throw it out there to all the game nerds watching. This is a show, if you're new, have a pencil and paper handy. I'm not kidding. This is a show where you're going to want to write down some things, because I throw things out for you to go check out. And I'm a fan of the paper, pencil, marker, whatever. Jot it down. Things to look for. But... the game, Dungeon Degenerates, which I'm always talking about, has a bunch of new stuff coming out. New characters and new scenarios. So I was thinking... oh, and the game is... you can run it solo. You can run it as a one-person game. So for Boardgasm episodes, for the fall, I'm going to actually run a live campaign and let the viewers help me decide what to do. And I'm being dead honest. I want to try it as an experiment. The game has got a billion things to choose from, and sometimes you take the risky choice because it's fun, and sometimes you take a safe choice to keep the game moving. And I'd love to see how the viewers cheer me on what choices we're all making. And I'll play 2 characters and run scenarios. So that's coming up. It'll be pretty fun. It won't be like a Dungeons and Dragons experience, but it will be a little bit. So that's coming in the next few months. I wanted to show you this. A Pooter Tutor. This is they say it's the original. I don't know. You can get them on Amazon. This is got a really low rating because of its difficulty of use. This is a musical instrument, and it took me 3 months to learn how to do that. I'm not kidding. 3 months. It sounds deadly real, and if you learn how to do it, everyone is different. That's why it sounds real. It literally is what Leslie Nielsen carried in his pocket everywhere he went, the comedian. It's made of rubber. You can get them on Amazon. They're about $15. It took me 3 months, but it's well worth it. If you make this a little damp, it literally takes this part of your hand and turns it into a sphincter of some sort, and you're able to imitate flawlessly flatulence. So if you're like me and like to play pranks, whoa. I will say when you're doing this, you have to do you have to imitate it or else it doesn't work. Highly recommended for anybody that likes to play pranks. It's not easy. The reviews are terrible. There are other versions. They might be fine. This one here, I got the original Pooter Tutor. So, I'm sure, let me click on this. I'm sure some of you would appreciate something like this. Okay, seriously. If you have, it's an excellent gift, too. It does require work, which I like it. What else? Oh, another gadget. Excellent. One of these bug guns. So, I live in an area that has, I'm on the beach, and we leave our doors open all the time. My door's literally, like, open, and there's flies and bugs flying in. And I used to hate having flies in my house. You know, you get 3-4 flies in your kitchen, it'll drive you nuts. If you're trying to read, if you're... oh, you can. Wow. Yeah, Sherman, you had one. You got good at it. So, if you have a bug gun, you cock it, take off the safety, and it fires. You won't be able to see it, but you might. Oh, wow, you can hear it. It fires salt as if it were a shotgun. Let me see something here. Wow, it goes pretty far, actually. It's really... Now when I get a fly in my kitchen, I actually get excited. It turns into a game, a shooting gallery. If I get 3 flies, it's even more fun. I've been like that my whole life. I turn unpleasant things into fun. It's my philosophy of fun. When I see a fly now, I get a burst of positive chemicals, not annoyance. Same thing with Jehovah's Witness. When they knock on my door, I used to be annoyed and angry and want to yell at them. Now I get excited. I get to have fun for a few minutes. I have a way of, yay, yeah, lantern flies. Are we really going to be able to get rid of them by killing them? They keep telling us to kill them. It's good on roaches, but you got to shoot them a few times. You got to hit them a couple times. So it's a little more brutal. The really big house flies, sometimes you got to hit them a few times. It is brutal. It really it's like a shotgun. It's crazy. It's a miniature shotgun. Highly recommend it. You don't need the one with CO2. They make a strong one with CO2. Oh my God. Basement, you got to get one. Yeah. Is that gun even legal in New York? No, it's legal. It's not a BB gun. It doesn't have any ammo except for you pour a bunch of salt in the top. Yeah, they ship here. You can get it shipped in New York. Do you know shotguns are legal in New York, but BB guns are not. I don't know if you know that. Go figure. Our dumbest law of all. Yeah, lanternflies are hardy. You gotta really blast them. So, what else? Oh, yeah, when Jehovah's Witnesses show up, I have a whole thing I do now that's kind of fun, and I try to film it. Oh, you're joking. I mean, you're not, it's not, what you asked is not that joking in this city anymore. I mean, we have some of the worst laws known to man in New York City. I don't know how they got put into place. I really don't. Like, if someone breaks in your house, you have to retreat. That's a law. How's that? All right. What else? Before we get into the meat. Oh, I have so much to show you still. Shout outs. Arno Tattoos in Montreal. A friend of mine who owns a tattoo parlor in Montreal visited me, and he gave me this shirt. So if you are ever in the Montreal, Canada area, Arno's Chamber of Horrors. Arno Tattoos. Check them out. Cassandra McCurdy sent me this from Clownvis. I guess they had a fan art, and I love it. Thank you. Nuff Naff Rat. It's a spoof on, yeah. Love it. Thank you. And what else? Here. Underworld Amusements. A lot of you have heard of them. You should. They are an amazing book publisher. Reverend Kevin Slaughter runs it. And he just made these shirts. By God, I haven't cut the sleeves off yet. Free men are immoral, Nietzsche. I love it. It's brilliant. So I will slice the sleeves off and start sporting that. That's Underworld Amusements. Check them out. I am not sponsored by any of these people. I like their stuff. That's all. And they're friends of mine. And I love supporting self-run business, small business. What else I was going to show you? Oh, what I've been reading. So I also wanted to read something here. Fun fan art. Yeah, I like it. It says, band spoof. So I've 2 more pages for the Dawn of Day, Nietzsche. 2 more pages. It's one of the meatiest of all of them. Like, really thick, meaty reading. And I already started Birth of Tragedy. And I'm loving it. Nietzsche's first book, essentially. And I've been reading, and I'm almost done. I have, I don't know, a couple more pages. Goether's Faust, Part 1. And then I will read Part 2. Immoral. Immoral, not amoral. Yeah, it's good. I bought this, so for those of you that like to buy these cheap editions, which I usually do not buy this edition other than for reference. It's the, the Dover $6 parts 1 and 2 of Faust. The translation is hard to read and not very good. Reading this one, this is like a Goethe best of. It's blowing my head off. Faust is fantastic. It's not meant to be performed. I mean, although some of this would be really fun to do. It's a philosophy story. It took him his whole life to write the whole thing. It's deep, reflective philosophy, a lot about morality, which is what we're going to be talking about today. But done in a very dramatic way, using these the devil imagery and the story of Faust as the vehicle. Fantastic. And I do want to read one thing just so you can hear. I don't know how they translate this and make it rhyme. This is pretty early on. Faust is just meeting Mephisto. And let's see if you can catch this and listen to the words and the rhyming. It's just listen. And I'm going to read both parts. This is Faust. What is your name, Mephisto? Mephisto says, the question seems absurd. And how it's written, what is your name? The question seems absurd. It's iambic pentameter, and it is, if you would see it dramatically read, it would be, What is your name? The question seems absurd. It's like one actor would cut the other one off so that it could keep the rhythm. At least that's how I was taught to read Shakespeare. Malcolm, what's up? So here, I'll read it again. And it's Faust and Mephisto answering. What is your name? The question seems absurd for someone who despises the mere word, who treats appearances as vain illusion, and seeks the truth in such remote seclusion. And then Faust says, but with you, gentlemen, the name and nature's usually the same, and we can often recognize the liar, the destroyer, or the lord of flies. Then are you then, and then he interrupts, a part of that same power that would forever work for evil, yet forever creates good. I love it. It's excellent. It's got a great rhyme. It's got a great bounce. It's exciting. There's, I don't know. It's a fun read. I can't believe it's not more popular. I really think Goethe, one of the reasons why he's not popular is because it is hard to translate these things. It's not an easy thing to do. Translating poetry is hard. The other reason why I think he's not that popular, and I'm being dead honest, how many rock bands are unsuccessful because they have a terrible band name? I think there's a bunch. No one knows how to pronounce this name in English. If you see this, Goethe, no one knows how to pronounce Goethe. It's got a Goethe. I can't even pronounce it right. It's German. It's hard to do. Goethe. His full name is, it's not even on here. It's like Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. That's his whole name. Superficial. Yeah, I mean, it seems that way, right? Maybe it's not, but it seems as such. That's what I would say to that. Charlemagne wrote, I always have the feeling that our generations are superficial when compared to the past ones. It seems like it. I mean, no generation would disagree. Now, the question is that objectively true? Meaning, people are getting more shallow and removed. Maybe, yeah. It seems like it, yeah. So this Goethe, I'm a fan. It's I think it's weird that he's not that popular, but his name is hard to pronounce. I remember seeing his name listed as a famous writer and not paying attention to it because I'm like, who's Goethe? I never hear people talking about Goethe. Yet I've heard of Goethe. So I think his name actually caused a little bit of a in the sense that he's not William Shakespeare. It doesn't have a ring to it. Or even Mozart is easy to remember. Goethe is kind of... But at any rate, he's considered one of the greatest writers of all time, yet no one I know has read him. If I ask people, have you ever read Goethe? No. Once in college. That's it. No one reads him for fun. No one reads it as a recommendation. I'm recommending it. It's fun. I'd like to maybe do a version of it. At least parts of it. I mean, it's long. So, let's go to today's episode. Bad atheists believe in good. And I really want to bring people into this. Please add to the convo. But I'll tell you my history of what I mean by that. When I was little, and if you watch the show, you'll have heard me tell versions of these stories, but when I was little, I realized I was kind of an atheist right away. I believed in God only because everybody else did, and it made sense, and I followed along, and I went to church, and I played along. Why would I not? All the other adults are doing it. Like, that's the reality in front of me. And I mean in front of me everywhere I looked. Every one of my relatives was a Catholic. I didn't have any uncles or aunts that were atheists. I didn't know any, that's how it was. But inside, I knew something wasn't right. And as I saw my heroes getting taken away, like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, they didn't take away Jesus. I kind of waited for that, where they're like, look, none of this is real. we just kind of have fun with it. I didn't hear that. I heard that it was real. And I saw people truly believing it was, or at least wanting to believe that it was real. But I didn't. So when I discovered what atheism was, I kind of was like, I'm an atheist. I don't see any evidence of a deity. Clearly there's something crazy going on I don't understand. That would be my agnosticism, or at least my admission. How would I know these facts with my brain that's the size of a coconut? How would I know? I couldn't. So that was my early understanding. Now, as I got older, here we go. I mean, right, dude, Lorcan, you're doing the short version of the good bad argument. Lorcan wrote, good and bad, totally subjective. Killing a man who abused my child, good for me, bad for his mother. That is the nutshell of the argument of this. But what's funny is what I discovered was, as I got away from theism, I discovered atheism. And to me, atheism meant nothing other than the lack of belief. That was all. There's no color to that. It's not a shade of any color. It's just lack of belief. It doesn't mean I believe in this, or this. It's just a lack of. So whenever I hear religious people say, well, atheism's also a religion, I disagree and agree. I disagree in the fact that the real word atheism and what I feel I am isn't a religion. But atheism became a religion. It became a thing because I would say in the late 80s, early 90s is when it started. The atheist writers and the movement, the modern atheist movement, the Christopher Hitchens and the Richard Dawkins and the Sam Harrises and the, I'm missing a few. Who are the other famous modern atheist writers? Who's the physicist? Well, whatever. There's a lot. It got popular. I noticed that they were adding to it more than just a lack of belief. It is a humanism of sorts with a morale laid on top. And so tonight I want to talk about that a little bit. Because to me, I would say, and tell me what your thoughts all are on this. Daniel Dennett, the Four Horsemen, of course. Yes, the Four Horsemen is the group. They actually did a tour. It became a thing. So, I forget where I was going at the very beginning here, but basically, I saw atheism become a thing, have some dogmas added to it, some rules and some regulations, and some, if you do this, that means you also have to do this, this, and this. I always thought atheism meant just lack of belief. But I will say it did become a religion of sorts because here's what I was going to say. What do you all think out there? And please join in. Throw this out. I don't know. What's up, Achilles? What is the percentage of people that believe in God? And I mean a deity, not energy, not something bigger than yourself, because you can there's no end to that word God, right? But I'm talking about a creature floating in the sky making decisions, or in another realm, or like that kind of a thing. What is the percentage of people on Earth that actually believe that? I personally would say 75 to 85% are like, I believe in some sort of God. Right? I don't know. What do you think? Tell me. Now, after that, out of the people that don't believe in God, let's just say it's 20% of the population, or they're atheists. The part of their brain that does the God thing, it's just not there, right? How many of them believe in objective good? Meaning, in the universe, there's a ball of good somewhere, whether it be love, whether it be something in nature that shows us how to behave correctly. and that we would all agree upon it being, quote, good. How many out of that? All right, so Lorcan says 84% for God believing. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I said 75 to 85, right? Somewhere in there. Let's just say 80 for now, right? A creature floating in the sky is a pretty crude character. Well, but I'm saying a deity, a thing, a guy, a girl, a they, another, some sort of intelligent deity. Because a lot of people I know, they're like, I believe God is energy. And I'm like, okay, well, what's that mean? Does it think? No, it just is. And they, they have their own version of it. I guess you could put that in the God category. I honestly I realize it's beyond my pay grade. My pay grade can only do a certain amount of things, and I can make some assumptions. The floating spaghetti monster, yeah, that's the classic one. So, I realized as a little kid, and this is where I'm getting at with my little kid story, that the world did have... Oh, so how many people believe in good out of the 20%? I would say 15 out of the 20% believe in objective good, which means there's probably only 5% that are actually atheist. And I mean, like, they don't buy in objective good because, wow, why would you? That's how I feel. I don't believe in objective good. I don't even know what that means. So, I can give my own versions of it, but I know other people will give completely different versions. So, quantum particles, elaborate on that, Ryan. Please do. Give me what you're chatting. So, I'm here to talk about what that 5% is saying, where they don't believe in objective good. I realized at a very early age that I am a version of a specific thing that's not that popular. In the world that we live, I have recognized that people are binarily good and evil, good and bad. They really do that. They bust it into good, bad, good, evil. It's why pro wrestling's popular. It's why soap operas are popular. It's easy. It's the no link. What's the no link? No link for what? You got to tell me what your link. Not sure what that means. Anywho, so what does that mean? 5%? I realized as an early age, I did not view morality binary, and I was the alien. Here's an example of me being correct, and they also being correct. Okay, so as I got older, I started to resent religion. I started to resent do-gooders, and in my youthful age, my brain was like getting bombarded with God world. The whole world believes in God, basically. And here I am having a completely different reality, and I hated it, and it made me go crazy, right? But I came to a conclusion, and this is something recently. Well, you could put it that way. Sure, that's a version of something, Ryan, yeah. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about intelligent things making decisions in outer space. Objective truth? Oh, we'll get to that. Hold on. Pause on that, Charlemagne. Bring that back in a second, because we'll get to that. Because that's another one that's a headache. So, I realized eventually I live in their world. I am the minority. They are the majority. They evolved to believe in God. They do believe in God. It came about for a reason. It grew from an evolutionary standpoint. The religion part and the spiritual part came as a trajectory. For some reason, my brain ain't going that way. Now, I could run around and scream and yell, and when someone says, God bless you, when I sneeze, I could be like, how dare you say that? I am not into that. I have a very non-binary version of good and evil. How dare you? But I don't do that because I do believe in multiple truths. And there we go. Their truth is real. My truth is also very real. So I do not believe in objective truth. And there it is. There's an example. That's why I said, wait a second. That's right there's the example. So, could there be aliens that dictate things behind closed... Okay, well, hold on. We'll get to that. That's not a god, though. I mean, we could call them gods. Okay, so I felt, ostracized. As I got older, I realized there are laws against atheism. There are states that will not allow you to run for public office, even though they're not going to enforce it. When Bernie Sanders was running against Hillary, the Democratic Party wanted to take out Bernie because he's not allowed to get in. It's rigged. I don't know if you know that. So they literally the Democrats sent memos to remind everybody Bernie was an atheist. They were trying to knock him off his seat. Debbie Wasserman Schultz specifically was in charge of the DNC at the time. And I'm using that as an example of, who's the yes for? So anyway, atheism's one of the most discriminated group on earth. Atheists. I'm not kidding. Look it up. If you think I'm making it up, I'm not. Everybody hates atheists. Every group, all the groups that get picked on, if you poll them of who they all hate, and you put atheist on there, a lot of people hate atheists. And I realized that's, two contradictions. Well, well, again, the truths are interesting. He's bringing up there's a contradiction of two truths. But from my point of view, I'll explain it how there can be two truths. Two truths would be this. Is it true that I don't believe in God? Yeah, I don't see any evidence of sorts. People that believe in God will say they feel it. They can literally feel it. So that's their data processor is sending the signals of a deity. So either the deity's real and is communicating to them and skipping me, the deity's not real, and I'm recognizing it as not real. It doesn't matter. To me, it's irrelevant at that point, Truth, sun gives life. Truth, sun can kill. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really. I can't. Objective anything anymore to me gets really interesting. I can't. Everything's so loose that, I don't know. Okay, so let's keep moving because this is like. So I realized I live in their reality. And it would be hubris of me to think I'm going to change the world for the 5% of the people that don't believe in objective good or God are going to listen. So my question is this. Let's define morality. Please, give me your definitions. In astrology, the gods are myths that were used in a story to explain the attributes of the planets and how the universe affects the world around us. So above, so below. Yes. Yes, interesting. Astrotheology. Interesting. You guys have to read the chats. If you're watching this, go look at the chats. There's a lot in here. What's morality? So I found a couple cool analogies. One of the Atheist Experience shows had an analogy. I forget if it was the girl or the guy. All that proves is that people don't agree on what is true, not that truth itself doesn't exist. Well, again, what does truth even mean? Let's go there. Why? What's that even mean? I did a paper on that in college. Ooh, wait. Morality? Right, yeah, that is true. Lorcan wrote, morality is considered to be good in any situation. Yeah. So here we go. If you were going to give... if we had a doggy here, what would make that dog, what would make us say that that dog has a moral agent inside of him. What would give the dog morals? So here it is, and this is to me the closest. There's two parts. Number one, we have to agree on what is good and what is bad. Before we do anything with morals, you and me have to agree on whatever's good or bad. So, whatever. Getting punched in the face is bad, or whatever it is. We have to agree. Yes, that's bad. All right. Two, this is the big one. We have to have the intuition that we ought to do the good. Right? I mean, that would be it. You have to have that intuition that what we ought to do is good, and we ought not to do the bad. Somebody wrote the dog analogy. If we were going to give that dog a moral agency, if we could see him recognizing fair and empathy. If we saw a dog being fair with other dogs, we'd be like, "Oh my God, he's being moral." But what about this? What if it was a robot dog and I programmed it? I think truth is when your ideas correspond to reality. That's a hard one, because what's reality to one is maybe not reality to the other. An objective reality like math? I don't know. Let's hold on. Let's keep going. Interesting. You have good questions, Charlemagne. You're throwing excellent wrenches at the engine. I like these kind. Hold on. The robot dog. If we program it to be fair, okay, if you see two other dogs in a bone, robot dog, don't immediately make sure each dog gets a fair portion, right? So now is that robot dog a moral agent? I don't think so. It's programmed. It's just following a code. So then that means the moral agency has to come from a place where that dog gets to make his own decision, like a free will. And you know how I feel about free will. I don't believe in free will at all. So, I haven't seen it yet. I don't understand what it means. Things are moving forward. They just go. So, first, agree on what is good is bad. Two, the intuition that what we ought to do is good. Now, ought is the big word here. Ought. I ought to do this. You could say theism, to believe in God, they do have an objective morality. Like, there it is. God shows you. Here it is. It's written down. But I'll talk about that in a second, because I don't think that's objective morality either. So now, let's talk about what is good. Let's define good. Because I don't think we can. Can somebody define good? People I hate this word. Anthropomorphize. Anthropomorphize. People make animals into human-like creatures. That's what that word means, right? That's such a crazy word. I don't have my glasses. I'm like, ATHROPO. Wow. Yeah. Define good. How do you even do it? I want to do it. Please, let me know. Define yellow. The root of all religion. Astrotheology. Interesting. Please, I don't think, if we can't define good, we're going to have a problem here. Is there any naturalistic synonym for good or bad? What's a naturalistic synonym for good or bad? It just seems for us to say what is good, we also have to have some sort of, we have to presume some sort of moral, like a moral philosophy to it, right? Here. Excellent, Ryan. I like it. Good is what I think I should do from my perspective and what you think you should do. But the key word in that is my, because there's the subjectivity, right? To lessen the suffering in the world. Okay, great. Let's start with that. My question is, well, why ought I lessen the suffering in the world? That's my next question. Why should I? Why me? What allows people to achieve their goals? What if what allows people to achieve their goals prevents me from achieving my goals? And why should I do that? Why? But what you feel is suffering might not be what exactly. That's I mean, there it is. I mean, even though okay, so we're jumping ahead because Sam Harris has some things which I'm going to talk about. The atheist version of morality, because atheists claim morality, they do, and this is why I don't like that. I think it's terrible. I think it's really weird. I think it's weird more than anything, and I'll get to it. You could say what God commands is good, but then that means we have to acknowledge him being a boss. Even though there might be a God, let's say God's real and he's floating in the sky now, I still have to acknowledge his reality, or at least his not reality, his dominance, his superiority. Okay, so Sam, was it Sam Harris? So okay, religion. So if a religion claims objective morality, which Christianity clearly does, it's denying the other religion's version of it, right? It's saying, well, ours is real and yours isn't. It has to. Each religion believes it's the objective version. Atheists, in its true sense of the word, the 5%, realize its subjective nature. Like, yeah, it's pretty subjective. Like, you know, there's a majority likes this, but then there's the minorities who like these things, or they value this, right? So you would think that atheism would give you more of an open mind. You could say it makes you more of a nihilist, because there's no point to anything, but it should also open your mind to how other things work. Divine command theory, which was not followed by... I see. That's divine command theory, which was not followed by most Christians historically. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because divine command, okay. And you're the boss, right? Oh, yeah. I wrote this down. God is real, ? Why ought we do that which is good? Good defined by God. Oh, here's one. Instinct doesn't mean true. If we have instincts and inclinations, people take that as an objective truth, like believing in God, like free will. I feel like I have free will. Show me, where is it? Well, you can't. I feel it. God, I feel he's real. How many people I've seen so many debates with Christians where it eventually is just like, well, I don't care. I feel it. It's like, well, you should have just started with that, because that's the only thing you have. And that's fine. That's real. That is real. Feeling it's real, but it doesn't make it a truth. You know, it's not that. It's a form of a truth, but it doesn't necessarily make, like, oh, here's the good one. Let's all vote what's the best color to paint my living room. Let's all say right now we all end up picking gray. Let's say gray. Everybody, let's say the whole damn world, for some reason, writes gray. The best color for this room is gray. Black? I do it's funny, I have rooms in here painted black, not this one. So, does that mean it's objectively true that the best color for this room is gray if everybody picks gray? The answer is, it's objectively true that everybody likes gray. It's not objectively true that the best color for this room is gray. I forget where I saw that analogy. One of the philosopher guys used it. I was like, that's great. That makes kind of sense to me. Atheist moral objective. Okay. So now let's go over to the atheists that... Oh, what's this? It's an interesting demonstration fact that all children are atheists. Oh, wait, what's this? It is an interesting and demonstrable fact that all children are atheists, and were religion not in their minds. I disagree with that. I'm curious of who wrote that. I completely disagree with that. Yeah. Because, and I'm curious of who wrote that kids are all atheists, because I don't think they are. I think people are born, quote, spiritual. God as a concept might be coming a little later, but the idea... So it's based on this. First of all, the religion part has nothing to do with it. That is a group awareness, a tribalism of sorts. It is the breeding ground for all sorts of things, bad things, because it's a tribe, it's a gang. And that's for survival, clearly. The spiritual is the fantasy. It's your brain fantasizing. It's, gee, how did that lightning work? I don't know. And that same fantasy triggers knowledge and science, but it also does this thing that humans do. We have mythology, and we use it to our advantage. And some of it becomes very real to us. This is the Jung stuff, you know? This is where Jung is like, no, our mythologies are hardwiring. It's not a taught thing. It really is a hardwiring. And I really do think so. And they kind of know which part of the brains are doing this. And I think my part of the brain that does it it just doesn't do it in that area. I fantasize, but not that way necessarily. Fear is slavery, knowing your options. Brave enough. I agree. Fear is slavery. People on islands develop... Yes, 100% Lorcan. Yeah. There's very few indigenous cultures that were atheistic. And even the ones that were, it wasn't atheism as we know it necessarily. Just like ancient atheists are rare. You don't read a lot about it. Archetypes all the way, baby. That's Jung. So here we go. Atheists that have morals. This is, I would say, a large percentage of the atheist community. I would even say a large percentage of even a lot of occult groups. The Wiccans, even the Satanists. They still don't realize it, but they believe in objective good. They might not want to, but they still might. Here's an example. Here's the claim of a moral atheist. You can learn how to be moral and behave correctly through learning facts about the universe. Like, through learning the facts of the universe, we can come to this is the way to do it correctly. Yes, well, Charlemagne also, I will add to this. Charlemagne wrote something interesting. Actually, some Greek philosophers became monotheists despite being raised pagan. Yes, and Epicurus who's also that right then and there. Epicurus was a kind of an early atheist because he believed gods weren't gods. If they did exist, they were matter. They weren't gods. They were just things. Like H.P. Lovecraft's version of deities. They're real. They're entities. They're not spiritual. Oh, I like this. People have an inherent fear of being alone, and I believe that death is the reason. Yeah, well, the fear of death. Yeah, we're one of the only animals that sits around and notices the death around us as much as we do. We need for a family to be okay after they're gone, which is interesting because we know this. A lot of animals, I don't know if they're worried about that so much. We do. We think about it. Oh, God, if I die, my kids, right? So we create a new life after death. Yeah. Yeah. These are all coping mechanisms for survival. You can see where it comes from. It's not a mystery. It's not like, oh, wow. It's like, no, it makes absolute sense. So the claim is you can learn how to behave correctly through observing the universe. This would be a Sam Harris kind of a way to look at things. This would be a who's the astrophysicist? The black guy that's famous that had Cosmos. Can't remember names anymore. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I used to like him a lot, and recently something rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. Oh, I know what it was. He was wrong about some of the COVID science, as were a lot of people. Clearly wrong, and siding with people that I was shocked that he sided with. On science, on hard science. I believe morality is a product of fear of being alone. Yeah. I mean, I think. H.P. Lovecraft, Necronomicon. Yep. Oh yeah, H.P. Lovecraft, Necronomicon is a fictional book. It says it on the back. Yeah. Okay, so ethical naturalism. So here's an objective truth Sam Harris would say. And how to behave. How to be moral, how to be a moral person that everybody can agree with is avoid what sucks. Literally. If it sucks, it's bad. So avoid it, and that's the best thing to do. But again, define sucks. Yeah, I used to be a fan of his. I really did. Oh, thank you, Jason. He's telling everybody to like this channel. So here we go. Avoid what sucks. Truth influenced by opinion. Preference is subjective. These are things I wrote down today. Pain is X. We all agree it's bad. Okay. So let's say putting your hand in a grinder is bad. Right? I think everybody in this chat right now would agree that if there was a grinder here, a meat grinder, to go like this with your hand just for fun, bad. Your life's ruined. Right there. Bam. You're going to have a whole new life. Right? So let's just say, let's make it math. Pain is X. And we all agree X is bad. But does that mean X is bad? Because what does bad mean? Something to avoid? Oh, what is a little bit like utilitarianism? What is? Tell me what you're referring to so I know. Because I've said a million things, but by the time you send your texts, there's that delay. I might, it's hard for me to tell what some things are referenced to. What makes X good? So I always thought that if you keep asking somebody that, eventually it comes to God. Good is God. You just take one O away and you get the same thing. Pain is an awareness system to keep you alive. Yes. So it's saying, so by sticking your hand in a grinder, the pain part is, hey, don't do that. It's bad. Right? It's saying it's an alarm for your computer drive to don't do that. Because then if you do that, you might not work anymore. And if you don't work anymore, you can't have babies or whatever. Right? But there might be pain can be weakness leaving the body. Oh, I like that version of it. Yeah. I still think the problem with making this... Yes, I was just going to say this. There are people wired to enjoy pain, or there are people that realize pain might lead to something good later. You see, sometimes pain equates to good, and this is why higher mammal is able to understand that. Lower mammal doesn't. It goes, ah, and runs away. But sometimes higher mammal can go, no, if I keep my hand in the grinder, this is going to happen better, something better. So, yeah, it doesn't equate good. The problem is define good. You can't define it. You just can't do it. That's the problem. That's the problem with all of these things, is try to define it. Words are just really hard to define. I really can't. I have trouble defining a lot of things. You were an art. Oh, Bruja's an RN. Cool gig. You're in an operating room. Way cool. That's wild. And I had a surgeon once say that the patient she was operating on had cancer because God was upset with them and they were a bad person. Wow, the surgeon said that? That is disturbing that somebody like a surgeon would be able. So there you go. There's an example of, and I love these kind of stories because people think that scientists, this is why when people go, I'm a scientist, trust me, it doesn't mean they don't compartmentalize. Just because you're a scientist does not mean you are a compartmentalizing certain things. Like, for instance, an evolutionary biologist who is a creationist. They exist. There's a lot of them. That's right. Here's a surgeon who uses science to heal people who thinks the cancer came because they were bad and God got them. How about cancer is part of our evolutionary process and totally normal? How about that for an answer? Sorry, bad things are part of the deal. So that person's trying to frame good. Yeah, interesting. One of my favorite quotes uses the term good, and that's all. Yeah, I have a lot of things like that, Jason. I try. Okay, so. Yeah, I mean, I use words that imply I believe in free will. I use words that imply that I believe in good and evil. They're just words. They're not, I don't, it's like hard to escape our language because our language is built upon a binary spiritual system of sorts. Our culture, our mythology, everything comes from this binary spiritual world of good and evil. I am a non-moral binary. I'm non-binary with morals. But I don't think anybody else should follow me in any way, shape, or form or agree with me. I realize I am the odd man out. I'm saying it. I get it. If someone doesn't like my view on things, I understand why. I really do. My version of it doesn't help anybody. It makes it more confusing. A Nobel profession doesn't mean that it's practice. Oh, hold on. I gotta put my glasses on. What's this say? A noble profession doesn't mean that it's being practiced by a moral person. Yes. The universe just absolutely. Well, yeah. No, I think that the chaos occasionally lines up. At least it seems it does. You see chaos, and then you see certain things line up, and some things come out of it. Like occasionally, the chips fall where they may. If it's a universe with that much possibility and infinity in its forms, you're gonna get some cool combinations. Obviously. I have no answers here, folks. Suffering should be creative and give birth to something good and lovely. Who wrote that? Chiuna Achebe. Suffering should be creative and give birth to something good. Well, I would say when I am suffering, whether that should be that the problem with that phrase, Jason, is the should, the ought. I don't like any oughts, but I do like the idea of when suffering, sometimes creative in how you're looking at the situation can give birth to something amazing. That's how I try to look at it. Yeah, right. That's really how I kind of always frame things. It doesn't matter whether it's bad or good, you can frame it. So when something I deem is bad, for me, it's painful, I try to frame it positively. Yeah. What's lovely to one person is ugly to another. Yes. Yeah. I mean, perspective means a lot. Just when I think there are universal truths, I'm pleasantly surprised. Which is why when I see terrible things, it reminds me that there's so many things I'll never understand. So many perspectives I'll never, ever, ever be able to grasp. I might judge them as bad. I might judge them as good, but I'll never truly be able to understand. And that's the glory of this whole thing. I don't claim any answers to any of this. I don't. I'm just having fun. I'm an amateur philosopher learning this stuff just for my own fun. I will say I have had a positive experience doing what we just did tonight. You guys in here chatting with me and throwing all this stuff out. It's fun. It makes me question. I love what's his name? Charlemagne was throwing some wrenches in the beginning, questioning the idea of multiple truths. Yeah, I do think multiple truths. From where I'm coming from, that's what it looks like to me. Multiple truths, I believe, is healthy. Because it allows two people that don't agree to live side by side in some ways. It really, that's why I think the U.S. having states was a great idea. We're not all going to get along, especially in a country where everybody's coming from a different value system. If you take the world and you kind of put like a chip on different areas and their value systems, there's some really different stuff in there. And so throwing them all together and saying get along, not happening. It might take a long time. So either everybody has the same value system, which could happen slowly over time, I guess, but doesn't seem natural. Or you force them to, which is not real. That doesn't work, as we know. Or you live side by side and realize there's more than one truth here. They're coming from a different perspective. In 2009, astronomers were able to identify a chemical called ethyl formate in a big dust cloud in the center of the Milky Way. It happens to be responsible for the flavor of raspberries. Wow! I love it. What would you say is the best argument against your opinion? Against it. Oh, interesting. I liked it. See, great question. In the sense of there being an objective good. Yeah, okay, so let's do some epistemology. What would it take for me to believe in objective good or evil? God made everything and was able to show me my data processor somehow. I don't know. I'm thinking about it now, because even if I had a revelation that God's real and I should behave a certain way, like I should start wearing my hat a little crooked, like little God just literally appeared in my mind and said, smile more, whatever. Would I interpret it as God, or would I interpret it as crazy? I don't know. Come on, people, help me here. This is hard. That's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it. What would it take for us to believe in objective good? You would have to close yourself. Well, first of all, okay, let's go one more step to crazy. I don't believe in free will, meaning I don't believe anything is its own causality. So you watching, whoever's watching, Lorcan or Giuseppe, or you feel like you're your own causality, 100%. You could go out and rob a bank. You could go to work. You could steal from your neighbor. You could do this, right? You have all these choices, and your causality says to do the right thing, you're going to go to work and do this. But I don't think those are choices. I think you might have choices, but you're compelled to pick one of them, and you will pick one of them. And so, what's this? Morality has both subjective and objective components. The objective component is provided by the laws of game theory. Okay. Yes, I've seen some of these before. But again, back to the question, what is morality? You have to agree on what is good for there to be a morality. And I can't, again, Um, do you think it's predestined that we choose what we choose? Yes, 100%. And I don't think God wrote that out. It's not like you will be this. It's not like that. It's there's a million pieces moving forward because of entropy in certain directions, and you don't have anything to do with it. For instance, everything that you're about to do right now, Bruja, Florida, Bruja FL, um, red M&M or green M&M. Pick one. Don't know which one you're gonna pick, but look, let's say you picked red. Um, okay, well, you could have had green, but why didn't you pick green? I don't know. I blah 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 blah. Whatever reason you're gonna have, if you stop and look at it under a microscope, you didn't choose the color you chose. It just went that way. Your everything influenced it. What you had for dinner, what you thought before, the fact that we just talked about this. I mean, oh, I got it right. Red. um, yeah. What are you gonna say next? You don't know. No one knows. I just. It's physics. Every action has something pushing behind it, and and so if you went back in time to a moment in time, could you have made a different decision? No, you didn't. You it went that way. There was a reason it went that way. You can see where it came from. It just didn't come from nowhere. It just didn't go pick that one. Boop, do that. You're assuming people that go, I have a choice. I have met people that get mad when I mention this. I have a choice. What are you talking about? Okay, it feels like you have a choice, but that doesn't mean you're choosing anything. That doesn't prove it. That feeling of choice doesn't prove it. Um, so that to me that's another it's another separate reality thing. But just on the idea of good, I can't define good. I as a little kid, I remember seeing and doing this naturally, like without help, seeing a movie with the bad guy or learning about a bad guy in history, the Stalins and the Hitlers and the Muammar Gaddafis and the people that were told are the bad guys, and trying to be like, what? So they just woke up and said, I want to be bad? That's what I always thought. Like, how does that work? Did they just go, I'm bad? And I'm going to cause trouble and piss everybody off? Like, what does that mean exactly? And at an early age, I remember actually thinking that. Like, huh. And I remember this when I went to theater school. I went to a very snobby, hard to get through theater school. And I remember them teaching us that a good actor can't have morality. And this is why, the Greeks didn't bury the actors with the other people, because they don't have a soul, because they're able to take on other souls. They're an actor. But a good actor should have no morality. If you get cast to play a Hitler type, you have to love that character. You can't play it and despise it. It doesn't work like that. You have to get in their shoes and really think the whys of why they're behaving the way they behave, and they feel right. They feel correct and good. Even though we deem it evil and bad, they don't. How could that be? I can't even fathom the version of Hitler's good. I can't. He clearly did, and so does a bunch of his friends, right? We all have the choice to bless ourselves or to destroy ourselves, consequences of our actions. What does that mean, choice, to do such? Why do some do one and why do some do the other? Is it a choice or is it a compelling? Is it the laws of nature pushing forward and you're riding it with it? I can't see it. The only thing Nietzsche's version of no free will was, you don't get free will, but you do get to frame things enough that you choose the engine that's going to run the program. So your brain, you get to use your higher brain, your higher mammal brain. Once you get that working, you're back to no free will. It's still running patterns. We don't see it as patterns, but it's highly complex compared to our dummy computers, but that might not be for long. I just saw somebody posted on a Twitter a haircutting robot someone built as an experiment. Now, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. It literally lifts in cuts and does the whole thing. So everybody that doesn't think their jobs are replaceable, get ready. It's happening. Wow, I don't know what to say. What else is there to say? I don't. I, I I'm just having fun, and I love it. I really like questioning my reality. I am entertained by it. I've met many people. I can tell when I meet strangers, I throw some signals out to see where they're going to go with anything. Because a lot of people don't like to talk about deep stuff. Um, they'll just, they don't. They'll say, I just believe in energy and then move on. Like, they don't want to detail it. And if I start to detail it, I can feel like, this is too much. I remember I was backstage the other day at one of my shows, the Slip Room, and I mentioned to one of my friends, I was talking about the alternate versions of Bible stories. Somehow it came up, and I could see them getting bugged out. I was like, why are they bugging out? Not bugged out, but like it was too much. And I know we were getting ready for a show, but for me, these things are drugs. Like, I love digging into these things, and if somebody has something to add to it, it's a treasure for me. It's a discovery, and it's a never-ending learning experience. And to me, that's what this is right here. And I thank you guys. Thank you. I had a good time tonight. I hope you guys did too. I need to eat. Wow. I wrote a lot of nights. Tonight's notes were good. I took a lot of notes over the last week of kind of what I wanted to bring out. Again, if somebody can define good, they're going to win a Nobel Prize in philosophy, I guess. It's, thank you, Bruja. Thank you. You're all of you in here, really. I had a blast, really. Thank you, everybody. All the input's great. I like it when people ask questions and throw wrenches at me, and it's going to get me to think. I'm going to go back and think now. My favorite question tonight was Charlemagne asking, what would it take? Which is called, how do you know what you know? That is epistemology. How do you know what you know? I don't know. It's great. Thank you, Tony. Know what people will do if they witness your actions. So is it worth doing? Can you take the hit? Do people deserve what you're about to do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, to me, it's all subjective. The more I microscope things, it's just everything gets crazy subjective. I'll sit around and think. When I was a little kid, I would dream about this mass universe. And I remember the day where I realized I was sitting and I was like, oh, wait. What's the smallest particle? The atom? Okay. But how do we know it doesn't go smaller? And for how long does it go smaller? Does it go equally as small as it does out? And when I realized that that's most likely what's going on, there's when my mind was blown. All right, folks, party on. Thank you. If you guys come on back, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're new to the channel, thank you for showing up. As you see, it's a chatty show. Oh, dude, Jason, you got to listen to this one. This is a good one. If you donate, great. There it is. Thank you to all the people that donate when it's online later, because I get them. They come in. I'll be like, oh, wow. People are sending them in. Thank you very much. Most importantly, just subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. I'm just spreading the word. Stay tuned. There's going to be a boardgasm coming soon. And I'm going to give you the boardgasm trailer, and then I'm going to take us out. So, party on, Wayne. Hey, what's up? If you like board games, miniatures, and the smell of paint and glue, you are in the right place. Welcome to Boardgasm.